Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. Dylan here. We have a major update with the case with Charlie Kirk and Tyler Robinson, and Erika Kirk just came out and shocked the world, issuing a major demand in new court motion. Okay, so we have a lot to discuss today. Now, before we dive in, we're going to read scripture and pray because God comes first. Amen. Comment amen if you believe that. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. Amen? So comment the word amen down below. And we do have a big announcement. The Invest Like Trump most popular program is officially back. You can sign up right now by going to thefinanцezone.org. We have the lowest price option available right now. It's very beginner friendly. You don't need a lot of money to get started and no experience necessary. Okay, here we go, guys. Erika Kirk issues a major demand in new court motion. Let's tune in.
So moments ago, Erika Kirk's legal team announcing a new court motion demanding all evidence be made public, arguing, quote, at certain points throughout the preliminary hearing, the Kirk family sat in the room while evidence was admitted but not presented for their viewing. They were present in body, yet denied the very thing their presence was meant to secure, their ability to meaningfully observe the preliminary hearing in the absence of transparency, speculation, and conspiracy theories related to the tragic assassination of Mr. Kirk will continue to proliferate in the public domain, breeding doubt and distrust in the judicial system. Now, this comes just hours before the court is expected to hear redacted audio testimony from the ex-roommate of the suspect accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk. Fox News contributor and criminal defense attorney Donna Rotuno joins us now. She's been outside the courtroom, inside the courtroom this entire week. Donna, can you explain to our audience what rights victims have in hearings like this?
Sure. Hi, Lawrence. Good morning. So victims do have rights, and the state of Utah has a specific statute that allows for victims' rights. So they list numerous things: right to a speedy trial, right to a fair process, right to be informed. This filing shows the frustration that Erika Kirk and the family of Charlie Kirk are dealing with. They have an entire legal team here that is saying to the court, look, Your Honor, you are allowing pieces of evidence in for your consideration, but you are not allowing us, the family, the public, to see what those things are. And this puts the judge in a very difficult position because remember, Lawrence, there's not a jury in this courtroom. This is a preliminary hearing. And without a jury to hear what's going on, there's nothing to shield the finder of fact from. Sometimes the judge rules, look, this is not information that is relevant to a jury. It is not admissible, and therefore they're not going to hear it. In this case, the judge is taking everything he hears into consideration, and he's making that determination. And normally, those things are not shut off to the public. And so this is a little bit of a different situation. And the defense is saying, I don't want these things to possibly taint a future jury pool. But Erika Kirk is saying, I'm sitting in this courtroom, and every time I walk out the door, I am being just bombarded by conspiracy theories. I mean, Lawrence, all of us see it in our own social media. 100%. People are out there with these ideas, right? They're out there with these ideas that things are not happening when they're showing the evidence to you in front of your face. So I don't blame Erika. I don't blame Erika for saying, Your Honor, if you're going to let it in, make sure we see it.
So that's just the point right there, Don. Typically, we would not be concerned about conspiracy theories because they never make their way into the courtroom. But this is different because in a sinister way, I feel like the defense is kind of winking to that crowd in the way that they're conducting themselves with the trial. Sure, there's no jury that has been seated, but it's almost putting pressure on the prosecution. Give us a deal. Take the death penalty off the table, or you may get jury nullification. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're absolutely right about it. And what I keep saying about this hearing is that the defense is trying to have it both ways. They've argued to the ends of the earth about whether or not cameras should be in this courtroom. And yet at the same time, they are playing directly to those cameras, right? So they want certain things out in the public. They don't want other things out in the public. And you can't have it both ways, because if you really were worried about a jury pool, you could have waived this preliminary hearing.
That's right.
Because spoiler alert, we all know how this ends, and it ends with the finding of probable cause.
So spot on. So spot on. Thank you so much, Donna. And be sure to check out Fox Nation for more.
So what do you guys think about this whole event? Wow, there's a live show going on, the Murder of Charlie Kirk live show. You know what's kind of crazy to me is the amount of money that is being made off of Charlie Kirk's death. Like, they're, you know, airing this show. I'm sure they're going to be running ads. They're getting new viewers. It's pretty crazy to me. You know, I'm not blaming Fox or anyone really, but the amount of attention that is being brought on this is absolutely diabolical to me. Look at this. Robinson defense panics ahead of ex-lover's bombshell testimony. Let's tune in.
Today in Utah, recorded testimony from the ex-lover of the man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk is expected to be heard in court.
And this comes one day after prosecutors played video showing the murder suspect after he turned himself in. Chanley Painter is live in Provo, Utah with the very latest. Hi, Chanley.
Hey guys, good morning, Todd and Carly. So this is the most anticipated piece of evidence of this entire week. It is the pre-recorded interview on video of Tyler Robinson's former roommate, his former lover, Lance Twiggs, and Lance is expected to detail how Robinson allegedly confessed to the murder of Charlie Kirk. This recording will be the first time the public hears from Lance Twiggs. The defense spent most of yesterday afternoon in court fighting to keep it out of the public more than really any other piece of evidence, objecting on multiple grounds, including hearsay, relevance, and prejudice.
So we are very concerned that the publication beyond this court's eyes of what the state will call confessions at trial violates Mr. Robinson's due process rights right here and now today. And I know that we said that before in the litigation, but now we're exhibit specific.
Inside the courtroom, Robinson actually appeared to be a bit uneasy at times during these arguments, especially during mention of Twiggs, who was his boyfriend at the time of the shooting. He took deep breaths. He fidgeted with the red pen he was holding, adjusting his suit jacket at times. Prosecutors also, they really did fight back over these defense objections, detailing what this key evidence in the interview would actually show. Take a listen.
Yes, Judge, we will be attempting to and moving for the admission of the text thread, the Discord thread, and I think, and the note that is referenced in Mr. Twiggs 1102. We believe that the appearance or the tone, the context, hearing Mr. Twiggs actually talk and talk through these exhibits, talk through his experience is a meaningful way of presenting our evidence.
Throughout the afternoon, Erika, Kirk, and family were very emotional, embracing each other at times, sitting in the gallery. And for the first time, the Kirk family attorney took to the podium in front of the judge to urge him to allow this entire interview to be played openly in court for everyone to see. And while the judge ultimately agreed that the recording would be played in court, he ordered prosecutors to cut out or edit out about 17 minutes of this 37-minute interview of Twiggs before it is played to the public this morning. So while those inside the courtroom will actually see it, only audio will be streamed on the public live stream of this interview. And in the meantime, another big moment yesterday, I have to mention, prosecutors showed video of Robinson at the police station after he turned himself in last September, some 30 plus hours after the shooting. In that short clip, why it's important, there's no audio, but prosecutors focused on what Robinson was actually wearing when he turned himself in, because they will argue that that's the same clothing and the same tennis shoes that he wore when he arrived to the Utah Valley University campus in the hours before allegedly assassinating Charlie Kirk, guys.
Whoa, that's actually kind of nuts that he's wearing the same clothes. Like, I didn't realize that whatsoever. Now, take a listen to President Trump.
The United States, as you probably have heard, is doing better than it has ever done in terms of business and investment. The stock market has hit a new high, as you know, and that's for many, many days out of our fairly short 8 months. And we seem to be hitting new highs, and I think we're going to do much better even as time goes by.
If you want to learn how to invest like Trump, learn how to invest in the stock market, know what stocks I'm buying, this is very beginner friendly and easy. You can go to my website, thefinancezone.org, and get signed up today. The 90% off sale ends today. Donald Trump said that this is a great time to get rich, richer than ever before. He also said that this is a great time to buy DJT. As you can see, the Trump market is booming. It's up over 19% in the past 1 year. I'm bringing back this program due to popular demand and because the program is so good. So again, head to the website, thefinancezone.org, or click the link below and I'll see you in there. It's beginner friendly, there are payment plans available, and you don't need any experience to get started.
Important point. Shanley, thank you. Let's bring in retired FBI supervisory special agent and Fox News contributor James Galliano. James, let's go back to what Shanley said at the outset. The judge, we well know, allowed the lovers' tape testimony to be played over defense objections. Now we are going to finally hear that testimony. But that said, do you expect the defense to now object piecemeal as this tape is played in court, further delaying a preliminary hearing, which, as we've stated throughout the course of this week, usually is a pro forma thing that lasts about 20 minutes, not 5 days?
Yeah, Todd, I think the defense's goal going forward here is to object to anything and everything. And look, understand this. There are two entities here that could end this preliminary hearing this morning. The first is the judge. He could say, hey, I've seen enough. I've heard enough. There's enough evidence. There's reasonable grounds to suspect that the accused is the one who committed this crime and bound this over for trial. The other is the defense team. They could say, hey, look, we're going to go ahead and waive this preliminary hearing because everything that's happening right now for them is a Pyrrhic victory. It's just them basically arguing with the prosecution about what is going to eventually be bound over for trial, and they're giving the public or the jury pool the opportunity to hear some of the mountain of evidence. So again, Todd, I go back to the term Pyrrhic victory. This is not going well for the defense right now, and it's really the only ammunition they have.
And it just keeps punishing the Kirk family. I want to keep mentioning that because there's a human element to this. Somebody was shot and killed, and they have to sit through endless testimony. And you know what? They're going to have to do it again in the trial. That said, James, the judge said this preliminary hearing will be done. To your point, he can end it at any time. He said it will be done by 5 p.m. Friday. You got to pick up the pace to do that, though. Will they pick up the pace? Can the judge get control of this right now with 2 days remaining?
Yeah, great point, Todd. We've effectively had 2.5 days of this, preliminary hearing. Yesterday was only 4 hours, and a big part of that, the afternoon session, was based on arguments on procedural grounds. And again, to your point, we're moving in today to what Chanley referred to as the 1102 statement from Lance Twiggs. That's the roommate / romantic interest of Tyler Robinson. And the defense is going to object again because Lance Twiggs is not going to testify. In the Utah criminal court system, you're allowed to submit a statement, or in this instance, it's audio and visual. Now, we know the judge is not going to allow the video part. The judge did allow the defense to basically have about 17 minutes redacted out of it.
Right.
But this, again, goes back to the mountain of evidence. I don't understand why the defense is putting everybody through this.
Donald Trump Jr., as we well know, close friend of Charlie Kirk, has been in the courtroom for these preliminary hearings. Let's listen to what he said.
It was important to be there and to see the actual facts laid out, Bill, because there was so much stuff.
Wow, I actually didn't know Trump Jr. was there.
That, amidst the noise and the internet chatter that was laid out that, I had never heard and makes this case very cut and dry to me.
Quickly, James, is that the general sense on the ground that this is?
Yeah, let's get back to Trump Jr. I didn't actually realize we had a whole interview with him, guys. This is really, really good.
So Donald Trump Jr. joins us now. I was in the courtroom this week for a couple days, and thank you for your time today. You were a friend of Charlie Kirk's. He was close to you. You were close to him. I can't imagine this was easy to be there. Why did you think it was
wasn't
important
easy,
to be
but
there?
it's 100%. I'm there too. not only honor Charlie's legacy, to support Erika, his parents who were there, seated all in the row with us. It was just important to be there. It's a legacy that really needs to be preserved. The impact that Charlie had on so many Americans, on so many youth, is, frankly, generational. It could have been so much more, but it was important to be there and to see the actual facts laid out, Bill, because there was so much stuff that, amidst the noise and the internet chatter, that was laid out that I had never heard, and makes this case very cut and dry to me.
So I want to ask you about that. Based on, I'm listening to all the legal analysts who are in court as well, and they're suggesting the evidence is overwhelming. And how did the prosecution's case sound to you in court?
Very strong, and the defense sounded very weak. The defense's only real tactic was seemingly to either stall or try to not admit essentially any evidence whatsoever, because I guess it would be too damning to their client. It was truly crazy. But you see the video. This is someone who lived 4.5 hours south, who importantly, and most people didn't know this, was not a student at Utah Valley University. He came up 4.5 hours away, very distinctly. I guess it was a Dodge Challenger in a car with very distinct rims. So they're able to identify the vehicle. They see him coming in early. He interacts with some Turning Point people, apparently asking them, what was happening here? Who were the speakers? What was the timing? Whatever that may have been, it seems. He then leaves, but he's wearing shorts and a T-shirt. He comes back wearing long pants with a limp that magically somehow developed. Is seen on video going up to this rooftop, which was the perfect vantage point to make, this shot. Then jumps off the building carrying a long object that looked like the shape of a gun, according to one of the witnesses, wrapped up in something. And there was a screwdriver left, which to me, leads me to believe that he walked up there with a limp and had disassembled the gun, put both the stock and the barreled action, down his pants, walked up there, put the gun together. That takes 30 seconds. Made his shots. They saw evidence of the indents of where, there would have been a sniper's hide, the indents from his knees and elbows where he would have lain prone to make this shot. The shot happens, and within seconds he's seen the limp has disappeared, and he's seen, jumping off the building and running into the nearby woods. Then there's ring cam footage of him pulling up again in this very distinct car at 12:30 a.m., again, on a university campus that he does not go to, lives 4 hours away. To me, that seems like he's there to retrieve the weapon that was stashed earlier in the day. Other minor details like, he turned himself in and these kinds of things. But it's just been very tough to watch. I haven't, frankly, opined, and I've taken a lot of heat from people because I haven't opined on a lot of the stuff that's been out there because I didn't know that any of it had any basis in fact. But once this hard evidence was laid out to me in a courtroom before my very eyes, and seeing the reaction of the defense, this thing is much more cut and dry than I would have ever even imagined.
I've got one more minute here. Some of the video that was played in court is something that we have never seen before, and the public seeing it for the first time. It's my understanding on Monday there was some video that was played, and Erika chose to get up and leave the courtroom at that time for obvious reasons when that fatal shot was fired. How's she doing? What does she want America to know?
Listen, she is doing as well as she can be under the circumstances. She was obviously very grateful that Bettina and I were there to just support her. Obviously I've been friends with her as long as she's known Charlie. And she's just a great person, a mother trying to get by, trying to fulfill her husband's legacy. There's obviously a lot of sadness in all of this. I think there's a lot of frustration, frankly, that this could have ever happened. I mean, one of the things I did hear that was sort of shocking was that there were only 6 officers on duty on this campus event. No briefing beforehand, no real set game plan, and 6 officers for a Turning Point event. And anyone who's watched the news in the last, decade or so would realize there'd be thousands of people on this campus. So, I imagine there's some frustration with that, but I think she just wants justice. She's doing an incredible job just holding it together, given the circumstances and the, sheer brutality of how this all happened, and frankly, some of the sheer noise that has come after her and attacked her and the organization and all of that. Which is, again, I've stayed quiet. I've supported her. We've talked, regularly ever since. I haven't been that vocal because I haven't known what's real and what's not. But having literally been there in the room, seen the evidence with my own eyes, it's very clear to me that Tyler Robinson will be found guilty.
Back in court today.
Wow, that is insane, guys. This is what Trump said.
You better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. Rising market will do. Oh, it's going to get a lot higher.
I've been investing heavily into the stock market. If you want to learn how to invest like Trump, learn how to invest in the stock market, know what stocks I'm buying. This is very beginner friendly and easy. You can go to my website, thefinancezone.org, and get signed up today. The 90% off sale ends today. Donald Trump said that this is a great time to get rich, richer than ever before. He also said that this is a great time to buy DJT. As you can see, the Trump market is booming. It's up over 19% in the past 1 year. I'm bringing back this program due to popular demand and because the program is so good. So again, head to the website, thefinancezone.org, or click the link below and I'll see you in there. It's beginner friendly, there are payment plans available, and you don't need any experience to get started. So there's a lot of updates here with Tyler Robinson and Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson faces Charlie Kirk's widow at the preliminary hearing, guys.
Widow Erika Kirk facing the accused killer for the very first time. The week-long preliminary hearing is expected to give a detailed look at the evidence and will decide whether the case against Tyler Robinson will go to trial. Democrat Senate nominee Graham Plattner facing even more allegations. This after a woman accuses the main candidate of sexual assault. Plattner calling the accusations, quote, categorically untrue, adding he will take time to reflect on the best path forward in his Senate race. Hundreds of thousands of people gathering to mourn Iran's supreme leader. Peace negotiations are on hold, but talks are expected to continue this weekend in Pakistan. And President Trump is traveling to Turkey tonight ahead of this week's NATO summit. The president is expected to test the allies.
And look at this, Erika Kirk flees courtroom during gut-wrenching testimony, guys. This is actually crazy because Erika Kirk, you know, she's going through so much. It's honestly quite sad, but let's listen in.
The week-long preliminary hearing for Charlie Kirk's accused assassin, Tyler Robinson, is underway, bringing him face-to-face with Charlie's parents and his widow, Erika, for the first time.
Chanley Painter was inside the courtroom in Utah yesterday, and this morning she's outside the courthouse ahead of today's hearing. Chanley, what do you have for us?
Hey, good morning, Todd and Ashley. That's right. There was a strong showing of support for the Kirk family at this courthouse yesterday. As I was actually waiting in line to enter the courtroom, I saw Erika Kirk. She walked past. She was holding hands with Charlie Kirk's mother. His father was close behind them as they entered the same room for the first time with Charlie's accused killer. The group of family and supporters, including Donald Trump Jr., took up the first 2 rows of the gallery. Also in court, the parents of Tyler Robinson, who sat in the row directly behind me with some relatives. And as court began, Erika appeared very emotional, at times wiping tears with a handkerchief, at one point laying her head on Charlie's mother's shoulder. The first witness, Chris Bagley, was on duty at Utah Valley University that day, and as he began to describe hearing the gunshot and seeing Charlie fall, Erika Kirk immediately stood up, and several others followed her out of the courtroom. Bagley then went on to testify about racing to that gravel roof where prosecutors believe Robinson fired that fatal shot.
To me, when I got up there and I could see this disturbance in gravel, to me it looks like a sniper pad, a person that has been laying in a prone position, and you've got markings of elbows, knees, and feet to where somebody was in the line of sight of where Charlie's tent was.
The lead investigator, David Hull, also took the stand yesterday where prosecutors showed videos of the shooting that were so graphic only the judge and lawyers were allowed to watch them. Tyler Robinson sat still, showing no visible reaction in those moments. Hull also testified that he identified Robinson 4 times in surveillance videos on campus before, during, and after the shooting.
Would you please point him out and identify something that he is wearing?
Yeah, I believe that Mr. Robinson is between Miss Nestor and other counsel, wearing a grey suit, jacket with a dark tie, and a light-colored shirt.
As I would ask that the record reflect that Agent Hull has identified the defendant.
And Agent Hull is expected to return to the witness stand this morning as day 2 kicks off of this preliminary hearing, guys, which is expected to last this entire week. I'll send it back to you.
And we will be watching. Chanley, thank you. With that, let's bring in retired FBI Supervisory Special Agent James Galliano, also in Utah right now. James, after day 1, do prosecutors appear to be on track to meet the very low threshold of evidence they need to get this case from the preliminary hearing stage all the way to trial?
Yeah, good morning, Todd. Yes, there's a really low threshold in a preliminary hearing. This is a prima facie hearing, which just requires that the prosecution put out enough evidence for the judge to be able to bound this over for trial. That is going to happen. And Todd, yesterday, there were no Perry Mason moments. There were no aha moments. It was standard laying out the layout of the campus where Charlie Kirk was assassinated and basically walking through a lot of digital imagery. I think today we're going to move more into some of the evidence related to the weapon that was used and the progress after the assassination itself.
You said there's no aha moments. Is that standard, or is that usually just how this type of situation goes?
Yeah, usually the prosecution wants to hold all the really explosive stuff close to the vest for trial. But then again, a preliminary hearing is considered a mini trial. So it basically progresses in the same way. But people that were looking for that one big thing, you know, that one revealing of this critical piece of evidence did not get that yesterday. A lot of it was spatial alignment of the campus and a lot of working through the digital imagery that the State Bureau of Investigation walked through.
But James, one thing that was not standard from a standard preliminary hearing were all the objections from the defense. Heck, normally the defense could waive the preliminary hearing in and of itself. And so my question really is, do you expect, based upon the delay tactics that the defense is employing here, that the judge at some point is going to come in and say, hey guys, knock it off. We're talking about basic facts here. And to be clear, we are not in trial yet.
Yeah, Todd, great question. The top charge in this case is aggravated murder. And the aggravated part just means that there was a level of severity or heinousness or depravity or cruelty attached to the murder itself. And in this instance, the defense could have waived it. Now, I'm speculating here. I've seen a lot of these, sat through a lot of preliminary hearings with the government side. I can only imagine that since this defense team specializes in capital murder cases, that they want to walk through this process A to B to C to D and not miss a beat here, because this case does have major implications with the death penalty.
And then I want to run this soundbite here. This is former Officer Badgley. It's his testimony from yesterday. He was there when Charlie Kirk was killed. I want you to listen to this. I also want to point out that Erika Kirk left the room during this testimony.
He was answering a question, kid asked him a question, and then I heard a shot fired. Everybody started getting up and starting to run in more of a chaos kind of situation. I proceeded to, right where the Fugle and the hall flags meet, there's some outside stairs that I was starting to run down. As I was trying to get down to the bottom of the stairs, people are running up, people are laying down on the steps. I'm trying to jump over people to get to the bottom of the stairs so I can help stop an individual that's probably shooting.
Obviously, hearing that is severely emotional for the family, but your reaction to his testimony and just that little piece.
Yeah, really tough for the family. Obviously, victims of crimes, especially one as heinous as this one that was blasted all over television screens around the country and around the world. Really tough for the Kirk family. And look, the evidence that was laid out there was just establishing all the confusion that took place in the immediate aftermath. They didn't know where the shot came from, and that's, as a former FBI and Army sniper, that's a real thing. You know, Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, was about 150 yards away on top of the Losi Center, and when that shot rang out, no one knew where it came from. So the officer was basically just describing the confusion and why people did not know where to look to see where the shooter was.
Wow, that's crazy. And look at Erika Kirk reportedly comforts a stranger during the Robinson murder hearing. That is crazy.
Of the strength of the DNA sample, and also that of that sample, it was Robinson who was the major contributor there on those items found at the crime scene. Also, one note in the gallery, of course, I was in there during that testimony, but earlier in the day, Erika Kirk actually got up and gave a tissue to one of the members of the public who had been waiting since midnight to get into that courtroom. And that woman said this quote: "She doesn't know if I'm Team Erika or not, yet she handed me a tissue and I lost it. She didn't know if I was a friend or not, and she showed love." We do expect the family on both sides to be back inside the court today for day 3 of this important hearing. But guys, it doesn't start until 1 local in the afternoon or 3 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be here for it. Back to you.
Chanley Painter, thank you. Joining me now, criminal defense attorney and co-host of the Murder of Charlie Kirk live show on Fox Nation, Donna Rotuno. Donna, in your decades of practice in some of the most high-profile cases in the land, what was the longest preliminary hearing you've ever had to deal with?
Maybe about 40 minutes.
Okay, you know what I'm getting at. What is going on here?
Yes.
What is happening here?
This is one of the most unprecedented things we've ever seen, Todd. I don't understand it. I don't understand why the judge is allowing it. The fact that the defense calls a DNA expert makes absolutely zero sense here. This is not a trial. The state is going to present evidence that they believe will show the guilt of Tyler Robinson. All they have to do is show a probable cause standard. Trying to attack that DNA and then have your own expert have to admit that the major contributor to a sample is the defendant absolutely makes no sense to me. The only thing I can think, Todd, that there is a bigger motive behind doing this by the defense. I think the defense is trying to say, let's throw a bunch of things out there. Let's see if maybe this results in the state coming to us and possibly taking the death penalty off the table. To me, this is just the most bizarre set of circumstances in any jurisdiction I've ever practiced in, and I've tried cases all over the United States. I have never seen anything like this. This is like a commercial for why you should have a grand jury process.
Whoa, that is diabolical, guys. Now, President Trump just came out to address the nation. Let's listen in.
The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom, and the rest of the world wants to see, is there any way they can make a deal? They've taken advantage of us for many, many years. For many years, we've been at the wrong side of the ball, and I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be unbelievable. The thing that people have to talk about, we're up almost to $7 trillion of investment coming into our country, and you'll see how it's going to turn out. Our country's going to boom.
President Trump says our country and the market is going to boom. I've been investing heavily into the stock market. If you want to learn how to invest like Trump, learn how to invest in the stock market, know what stocks I'm buying. This is very beginner friendly and easy. You can go to my website, thefinanzone.org, and get signed up today. The 90% off sale ends today. Donald Trump said that this is a great time to get rich, richer than ever before. He also said that this is a great time to buy DJT. As you can see, the Trump market is booming. It's up over 19% in the past 1 year. I'm bringing back this program due to popular demand and because the program is so good. So again, head to the website, thefinanzone.org, or click the link below and I'll see you in there. It's beginner friendly, there are payment plans available, and you don't need any experience to get started.